On May 29, 1953, at 11:30 in the morning, two men stood on the summit of Mount Everest for the first time in human history. Edmund Hillary, a beekeeper from New Zealand, and Tenzing, Norway, a Sherpa from Nepal who had attempted Everest 6 times before that morning. They shook hands, they took photographs, they spent 15 minutes at the top of the world, and then they climbed down together. For years afterward, the rest of their lives, neither man would reveal who had stepped onto the summit first. Not Hillary, not Tenzing. When pressed, and they were pressed many times by many people who very much wanted to know, they both said the same thing: we reached it together. Welcome back to the Climb Home. I'm Devin, 5 episodes in. If you did the Basecamp 3 work last week, if you sat with the 3 threads and you followed the historical thread all the way back to the room it came from, I want to say something to you. That was brave. Genuinely, quietly, profoundly brave. Not the climbing a mountain kind of brave, the going into the cave kind, the turning towards the thing you've been running from kind. And if things came up that were bigger than the journal, if the thread went somewhere unexpected, well, I hope you reached out to someone, a therapist, a coach, someone equipped to hold that with you. That's not weakness. That's exactly the right next step. So today's episode is different from the last 4 in the best possible way, because today we're not going deeper. Today we're going wider. Today we talk about what has been missing from every trading psychology framework I have ever encountered: the other person on the mountain. Edmund Hillary and Tenzing, Norway. They spent the night at 27,900 feet, higher than any human had ever slept before. The next morning they climbed through conditions that would have stopped most people. Hillary later described a 40-foot rock face near the summit that had no obvious root. He found a crack beneath the rock and a wall of ice, and he chimneyed up it, using his body as a wedge, with Tenzing belaying him from below. That crack is now called the Hillary Step. And here is what I love most about this story. Hillary did not summit first because he was more skilled than Tenzing. Tenzing had been to the high camps of Everest more times than almost anyone alive. He knew that mountain in his bones. Hillary summited first, if he summited first, because the terrain that morning happened to put him in the lead position in that particular moment. It could have been either of them. They both knew that, which is exactly why neither of them would ever say exactly. All they ever really said was, we reached it together. That sentence, 4 words, is the most important thing I want you to carry from this episode. So the trading industry has sold you a myth. It's a very profitable myth, a very convincing myth, and it goes like this. Trading is a solo endeavor. Your success or failure is entirely your own. The work is internal. The journey is private. You sit alone at a desk. You sink or swim alone. And, well, there's a version of that that's true. Nobody can trade for you. Nobody can do your Basecamp 3 work for you. Nobody can follow the thread back to your history on your behalf. That part is yours alone. But here's what the industry never tells you. The healing part, the actual changing of the nervous system, the rebuilding of the patterns, the slow, patient work of becoming a different kind of trader, that doesn't happen in isolation. It never has. It never will. Human nervous systems were not designed to heal alone. They were designed to co-regulate, which means your nervous system literally calms down faster, reorganizes more effectively, and builds new patterns more durably in the presence of a safe other person than it ever could in isolation. This isn't philosophy, this is neuroscience. And it means that every trader sitting alone at the desk trying to fix a wound by themselves, well, they're attempting something the nervous system was never designed to do alone. You need a Sherpa. When most traders think about getting support, they think about, if they think about it at all, they think about, well, let me get a mentor, someone to tell me what to do. That's not a Sherpa. A Sherpa is something different. Tenzing Norgay didn't summit Everest because Edmund Hillary told him or needed him, told him what to do or needed him to do something. He summited it because he and Hillary were moving together, each one's strength compensating for the other's limitation, each one's knowledge informing a shared decision towards something neither of them could have done alone. A trading Sherpa is not someone who has all the answers. It's someone who's on the climb with you, who knows what 26,000 feet feels like, who's been in the death zone, who's taken the wrong trade and sat in silence, alone, who has written the journal entry 47 times and shows up anyway, week after week, climb after climb, not because they have it all figured out, because they understand that the mountain is better with someone beside you. A few months ago, I started a fellowship called Overtraders Anonymous. I modeled it on the 12-step tradition, on the specific radical revolutionary idea that the people best equipped to help you heal are not necessarily the experts. They are the ones going through it also, and they're going through it with you. Bill Wilson didn't create Alcoholics Anonymous because he had all the answers. He created it because he discovered in a hotel room in Akron, Ohio, desperate and about to drink, that the only thing that could hold him was another person who understood from the inside. I built OTA for the same reason, not because I figured it all out, because I know what it's like to sit alone at the desk after the account takes a hit and feel like there's no one in the world who could possibly understand what happened. And I know what it means to find a room, even a virtual room, full of people who do. Overtraders Anonymous meets twice a week, Sundays and Wednesdays, 5 o'clock Eastern time. It's free, it's anonymous, there's no sign up, no fee, no performance. You just show up. And you find maybe for the first time in your whole trading life that you are not alone on this mountain, that there are other people in the canyon, other people doing the thread work, other people carrying the vision of the life waiting, other Sherpas, people who will not tell you what to do, but who will climb beside you. Tenzing Norgay said later that the summit meant everything to him. Not the fame, not the history, the moment, standing at the top of the world with a man who had trusted him completely and knowing that neither of them would have been there without the other. They reached it together. That is what OTA is. For every trader who has been climbing alone too long. So this week's exercise is the simplest one in the series, and for some of you, the hardest. This week, I want you to tell someone, not everything, not the full thread, not the historical wound, just this. I've been struggling with my trading, not the strategy, the psychology, and I've been trying to fix it alone, and I don't think I can. Tell one person, a friend, a partner, a therapist, a stranger on the OTA Zoom call, one person. Because here's what I know, the moment you say it out loud to another human being who receives it without judgment, Something shifts in your nervous system that no solo journey entry can produce. The shame loses some of its weight, the canyon gets a little brighter, and the climb, which has felt like yours alone for longer than it should have, starts to feel shared, the way it was always supposed to feel. You don't have to climb alone. You never did. Hillary and Tenzing descended Everest together. They didn't split up at the summit. They didn't take separate routes down. They went together because the summit is only half of the journey. I want to offer you something before you go. This series has always been designed to be more than content. It's meant to be a practice. And practices, well, they need a place to land. So I built a companion workbook for the climb home. Each episode has its own pages, the climbing story, the core framework, reflection questions to sit with, writing prompts to go deeper, and the weekly healing practice with space to actually write. The kind of thing you can bring to a quiet Saturday morning with your cup of coffee, or pull out after the trading week that cracked you open. It's all waiting for you at thehealingtrade.com. The link is in the description. Because you didn't come this far up the mountain to leave empty-handed. Next week, we talk about what it means to come home. Not from the summit, home. To the version of you that exists on the other side of climbing. The healed trader, the whole one. The one who trades from wholeness instead of the wound. They know that the mountain will never run the show again. I'll see you at Base Camp 4. And if you want to climb the last stretch with other people beside you, check out OTA. It's there for you.